Hi, this afternoon I think I'd like to come talk to you about fish. Now, not everyone likes fish, but if you do like fish or you could be encouraged to eat fish, then really it's one of the best foods that you can eat. So fish comes in many different forms. So you can either eat oily fish, which is really good. It gives you your omega-3, which is brilliant in all sorts of ways. It's the one oil that the body actually can't make itself. So in that way, it's really important to eat fish, or if not, to take a supplement that gives you omega-3. Oily fish comes in different kinds of variety. I want to show you, this is a piece of trout actually. It's huge, isn't it? So you might think, oh my golly, that's huge, you know, it's really expensive. Well, this was £11, which I don't actually think was that expensive. I think if you were to buy a small individual ones, and often they're like a fiver. So I often will buy a big bit of fish and I will cook it in the oven just in a bit of foil. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to cook it a bit later. And then that will do for all sorts of things. I can then use that to make into fish cakes. I can use it to make it into pie. I can use it to make it into a salad for lunch. I can use it just have it poached on its own. Or you could freeze it, or I could take some of that and I could literally freeze some of it, put it in the freezer and just cook half of it. So buying in bulk, if you can, is always a really cheaper way to buy fish. So like I said, this is trout. This is an oily fish, as well as salmon's an oily fish, mackerel's an oily fish. All of them, oily fishes are brilliant. They help our brains, they make us think a little bit more, they give us some vitamin D. Excellent if you can manage to eat fish. So the other fish we've got here, this is actually a piece of hake. So hake is a really nice fish. It gives a really nice, just a really nice flavour. Again, you can do anything with it. So a bit later, I'm going to make fish balls, and I'm going to show to you how easy it is to make and what we can do with those. So again, £6.50 for that. This is an awful lot. This is really heavy. This is an awful lot of fish. So again, this fish can go a long way. So again, you might think, oh, that's quite expensive, but really it's no expensive than buying chicken or buying some meat. And again, it's going to last you and make a few meals for you. And the benefit actually of whitefish is often got iodine in it, which is brilliant. We all need that, which is something you're vegan, then you're not going to get. So again, it's going to have different minerals and vitamins to your oily fish, but equally important in a different kind of way. So maybe try and have some whitefish some part of the week, and then maybe oily fish and some other, so you break it up. So the recommended amount of fish is 2 to 3 times a week. So maybe have a mixture of white and oily fish. Right, the other type of fish that you can eat, which is really good, which would be perfect for lunches, or you could make this into a pie as well, it really doesn't matter, is if you eat fish in a tin. So here we have sardines in a tin. These are in olive oil. We've also got mackerel fillets. These are in brine, and these were in tomato sauce. So you can buy all sorts in different flavours. You can buy silled as well, loads of different things. And the real benefit actually of eating fish in a tin is that you eat the bones, which is a really good source of calcium. So actually eating fish in a tin is absolutely brilliant, and these are really reasonable. This is a great way of eating fish. So again, you never think to eat fish like this, but actually if you buy it, go out and buy a can and then just have it on toast for lunch. You'll remember how yummy it is. Really simple lunch, and that again is a brilliant way of eating fish. And then lastly but not leastly is we've got our tuna. Now tuna is a really great fish to have. These I buy mine in spring water because I think that's the best way to buy them. You can obviously buy them in oil too, or you can buy them in brine. So tuna again is a really good fish to have. You can make all sorts of things with this kind. You can have it in tuna bakes, you can make fish cakes, you can have tuna mayonnaise. So I'm just now going to go and make some fish with our hake. So I'm going to go away and I'm going to show you how I'm going to make some simple fish balls to try and show you how easy it is to cook with fish. And I'm also going to go and cook with our trout and show you what we can make with our trout. Okay? So I will be back in a minute showing you what we made. Thank you. Okay, so I've now got my fish, which I'm going to make into our fish balls. So if you can see, this has actually got some skin on it. So ideally, we don't really want some skin on it. So I'm going to skin this. So Don't be alarmed, it's really not difficult. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our knife and we're just going to put under the bottom of the fish. Now if you lose a bit of the fish, it doesn't matter, you can put it into the in the pan too. So we're just going to get our sharp knife and put it under and hold. We're just going to hold a little bit of the skin, and we're literally going to pull that, and we're just going to slide that underneath the fish like that. See? Easy peasy, wasn't it? Okay. So with the next bit, when you've got a thinner bit, you always take it from the thinner side because that just makes it slightly easier. So you're going to hold the end. You've got your knife, and you're going to hold it really, really tight, and you're literally going to pull along. And as you go, you're just going to ease up your hand. So you're just pulling that along as you pull up the fish. My board's moving slightly, but that doesn't matter. I've got my tea towel underneath it, so it makes that really important, even more so if you do that. Okay? And there you are, a really nicely skinned fish. Didn't take any time at all, did it? So we're just going to cut that into pieces, just because that's going to make it easier for that to poach. Okay, so I've got my fish, and I'm just going to pour some water over that. And I'm literally going to go and put that to the boil, and I'm going to show it to you when it's cooked. Okay, so here I've got some bread. It doesn't need to be breadcrumbs, it's literally some bread without the crust. And on that, you're just going to pour over some hot milk. So I'm just going to literally use my spoon. I'm just going to push that around a bit, and I'm just going to let that soak up for a little bit and come back to that in a minute. Okay, so I'm back now with my fish. So this fish is just literally cooked in some water until it's boiled, and literally I've taken it off. So you can see the fish is cooked because it's gone absolutely white and it flakes really easily. So it's always a really, really good way to tell when fish is cooked. So I'm just going to pour that into my bowl. Then I'm going to flake this with a fork. So you see that's flaking up really, really nicely. Then to my fish, because I want to give it some flavour, I'm going to give it some dill. I happen to have some fresh dill. It smells really, really good. So I'm just going to break that up with my fingers. If you don't have fresh dill, it doesn't matter. You can use anything you've got in the cupboard. If you've got some dry dill, that's fine. You've got some parsley, that works. If you've got some coriander, really, it's absolutely anything. So I'm going to add a little bit of black pepper. Tiny, tiny little bit of salt. Okay, and I'm also going to add a little bit of garlic and ginger, okay? Just a little bit, because ginger gives the heat, but I thought it would add a really nice like little flavour to that. So again, you don't have to add that. You could just add garlic if you wanted, or ginger, or neither. It really doesn't matter. That's a nice thing with cooking. Remember, you can just add whatever takes your fancy. So these breadcrumbs, these have been the ones that have been soaking nicely. Okay. So I'm just going to add these now to our fish. Okay. Into that, I'm just going to push it all together like this. And to that, I'm just going to add an egg. So I'm just going to take my egg. Oops, I got. Okay, so I'm back with my meatballs. So I'm just going to say that no one's perfect, and mine are actually a bit too wet. So I've actually added some oats to this. Now I really hope it works, because I don't see why it shouldn't. And I think oats will act like the flour; they'll absorb some of the liquid, but also because they're low GI. Again, I think they'll add a really nice accompaniment, and they might even give it a little bit of bite. So it's the most brilliant thing with cooking. If it doesn't necessarily work out the way you want, then adapt, because that's fine. Because you might think you followed the recipe perfectly and it still doesn't quite work out. So here am I showing you that it doesn't always work out. So here you go. So my slightly wet fish ball, but I'm actually going to cover it in some flour, and the flour will kind of hold that together. See, that looks better already, doesn't it? Okay. and I'm going to fry those. So what I'm going to do, actually, I've got an air fryer that I'm going to use. But if you haven't got an air fryer or you don't want to use one, you can fry it in a normal frying pan, or you could put them in the oven. They'd work perfectly like that, I'm sure. So there you go. A little bit of flour, roll it around. Perfect. There you go. Our fish balls, all nicely cooked. So I'm really pleased with these. I think they've worked out really, really well. So these ones are cooked in the air fryer. Look, oh, they look yummy. Look, and these ones are cooked in the in a pan, frying pan. Again, they were absolutely great. I think the air fryer ones might have got them a bit more moist. Really, I think they both taste absolutely yummy. So I really hope that you go away and have a go, and yeah, see how yours turn out. And I'd love to know. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a really, really cheap and easy way to cook this. Okay, so there are ways you can do it. You can put it in the oven and some foil. That's perfect. Cooks really, really well. This is just going to be poached for a little bit. So if you have got a nice big kettle that you can put it in the oven, that works perfectly. I'm going to use mine in a pan. Whichever way that you feel comfortable with cooking is absolutely fine. So remember last time we took the skin off. So we're going to do exactly the same with this. We're going to take our knife and literally we're going to take the skin off. Okay, so just going to question of pulling until we get the skin off. Okay, because really we don't want the skin. It's not that nice to have on it. And if you did cook it, the skin would come off. But ideally, it's better if you take it off first. Okay, so we have it in our pan. We have our trout. And to that, we are going to add some white wine. So if you don't want wine, or you could add vegetable stock, that would be absolutely fine. So we're just going to cover that in some wine. And to that, we're going to add a bay leaf. These are great. These are comes in packets. They're not quite reasonable, they last forever. Then I haven't got a lemon, so I'm just going to add a bit of lemon juice. Lemon goes so well with fish, it's great. And a tiny, tiny little bit of salt. And also I'm just going to add a couple of fennel seeds because I'm quite partial to fennel seeds. It just gives a really, really nice, like, slightly aniseed flavour, so I'm going to put those in as well. I'm also going to add an onion. So I've just got red onion because it's just the salt that I prefer. But any onion that you've got is fine. Or if you've got frozen onions, you can use those as well. Absolutely, it's fine. You're just literally adding it for the flavour. So I'm just going to take that top off. And I'm literally going to add half my onion, I think will be enough. And then I'm going to add some carrot as well. So again, I think this carrot's fine. I don't think it necessarily needs peeling. If you don't peel it, you're adding more fibre. But we're not actually going to eat the carrot. We're just literally, again, adding that for flavour. So again, I think half a carrot would be absolutely fine. And we're literally going to put that on a really low heat. And we're just going to poach that. And I will come and show you when that's done. Okay. Okay, so this is our fish, nicely cooked. Just wanted to show you, because some people are a bit wary about cooking fish and when it's actually done. But you can see this, we're going to start very slight little white bits. When you actually get the white bit, that means it's a little bit overcooked, but it will still taste absolutely fine. So this is absolutely fine. Look, it's all flaking off really, really nicely. There's no really pink bits, which you can tell. So this actually shows this fish is cooked really, really nicely. If you wanted to, you could eat it just like this. You could serve it with some vegetables, with some pasta, with some rice. You could save it for the next day and make it as a lunch. You could add a little bit of mayonnaise to it, a little bit of tartar sauce, a little bit of hollandaise sauce. You can make a white sauce like I showed you in a previous video. Really, what you decide to do is so many things, but just eating it just like it is at the moment, it would be fantastic.